I remember the heavy silence in the examination room when the doctor pulled up the scan of my heart a few years ago. I had gone in because of a strange, dull tightness in my chest that flared up every time I walked up the slight hill in my neighborhood. I tried to tell myself it was just the thick humidity we get down here in Charlotte, just the natural rust of getting older. But the scan showed a completely different story. The doctor pointed to the glowing screen and told me that the main lines feeding my heart were building up with plaque. He talked about percentages of blockage, about managing the inevitable decline, and about preparing for the day when a surgical stent or a bypass would be necessary. He made it sound like a one-way street, a slow breakdown of the engine that I just had to accept. That is the exact moment so many men of my generation just give up and surrender to the decline. We are taught that once the pipes get clogged, there is absolutely nothing you can do but wait for the breakdown and hope the mechanics can patch you up. But I am going to tell you exactly how I discovered that the standard medical understanding of clogged arteries is often completely misunderstood by the patient. The specific, science-backed daily habit I built to actually pull the damage out of my vessel walls, and how I took control of my cardiovascular system before it was too late. For a long time, I believed the same lie that everyone else believes. I thought the plaque in my arteries was just fat sticking to the inside of the tubes, like bacon grease poured down a cold kitchen drain. I thought the solution was simply to eat a strict, dry, low-fat diet and hope the grease washed away over time. But pressure rarely goes up alone. It rises with the habits we ignore. My daughter Danielle, who works in nutrition, sat me down and explained that I was fighting the wrong war. Arteries do not clog like plumbing pipes in a house. The plaque is actually a severe immune response. It is a state of chronic inflammation. When I was supervising the public transit system, we had to deal with intense corrosion on the undercarriage of the heavy vehicles. When road salt and moisture get trapped under the protective paint, the metal does not just get dirty on the surface. It rusts, swells, and bubbles from the inside out, destroying the structural integrity of the steel. That is exactly what happens inside your body. When bad cholesterol gets trapped inside the actual wall of your blood vessel, it oxidizes, it spoils. Your immune system sees that spoiled particle as a dangerous invader and sends in white blood cells to eat it and clear it out. But those cells get overwhelmed, they become engorged, they die, and they build up inside the wall, causing it to swell inward. That swelling is the plaque. It is an active chemical fire burning inside the walls of your heart. The real danger is not just that the pipe gets a little narrow and makes you tired. The danger is that the swollen, inflamed pocket of dead cells is incredibly fragile. If that pocket bursts open into your bloodstream, your body instantly forms a massive blood clot to try and heal the sudden rupture. That sudden clot is what stops the blood flow completely. That is the heart attack. That is the stroke that nobody saw coming. I watched good men I worked with drop suddenly from this exact process. They thought they had plenty of time because their doctor told them they were only 40% blocked. You do not want your first real warning to be an emergency. Marcus, my son, always checks in on my medical appointments. When the doctor told me to just keep taking my prescribed statin and eat less fat, Marcus asked if that was really going to pull the existing blockage out of the walls. The hard truth I had to learn is that lowering the cholesterol in the bloodstream does not automatically remove the swollen plaque that is already trapped in the vessel wall. Statins do a specific, necessary job of lowering the numbers, but they do not flip the biological switch to reverse the damage. I had to take responsibility for that part of the maintenance myself. Once I understood the actual machinery of the disease, I realized I did not need a generic diet. I needed a targeted mechanical intervention. Danielle helped me build a specific daily protocol that I treat with the exact same seriousness as a prescribed medication. The first step was opening the lines. Every single day I start with a massive base of fresh raw arugula. Those dark leafy greens are packed with natural nitrates. When you chew them, specific bacteria in your mouth interact with those nitrates, sending a powerful signal into your bloodstream that creates nitric oxide. That gas literally forces the tight, stressed blood vessels to relax and dilate, allowing the blood to flow freely. But there is a massive catch. If you use harsh, antiseptic mouthwash, you kill the bacteria in your mouth that make this entire process work. I threw my commercial mouthwash in the trash that very same afternoon. Opening the road is only the first step. You have to send in the cleanup crew to pull the garbage out of the swollen vessel walls. Your body has a natural mechanism to pump cholesterol back out of the walls and return it to the liver to be disposed of. But as we age, that pump essentially gets turned off. To flip the switch back on, I use a heavy, generous pour of high-quality, high-phenolic extra virgin olive oil directly over my greens. I am not talking about a light drizzle to save calories. I am talking about 3 or 4 tablespoons of the real, harsh olive oil that actually burns the back of your throat a little bit when you swallow it. That peppery burn is a specific compound that actively turns the reverse transport system back on. It is the heavy machinery that pulls the rust out of the metal to stop the cholesterol from spoiling and starting the fire in the first place. I throw a handful of fresh pomegranate seeds right on top of the greens. They contain specific compounds that act like a protective wax coating over the cholesterol particles, preventing them from oxidizing and triggering the immune system's attack. And finally, I had to address the hardening of the pipes. If you leave the plaque alone for too long, your body tries to heal it by depositing calcium over it. Your flexible arteries literally turn to rigid concrete. To stop that calcification from happening, your body requires vitamin K2. I get it by taking a specific high-quality MK7 supplement alongside my meal, which acts like a traffic cop, pulling the calcium out of my arteries and forcing it back into my bones where it actually belongs. I do not eat this combination once a week when I feel like being healthy. I eat this exact meal every single day. The massive bowl of arugula, the harsh olive oil, the pomegranate seeds, and the K2 supplement. It is not a side salad. It is a targeted biological intervention. The majority of people wait for a scare before they change, and even then, they just rely on a handful of pills to manage their slow decline while eating the same foods that are destroying their vessels. I still take the medications my doctor and I agreed were necessary to keep me stable, but I no longer expect a pill to do the heavy lifting that my daily habits are supposed to do. Control begins with what you stop normalizing. A stable life builds a stable body. It takes time for the human body to reverse the damage of decades, but the machine is built to heal if you give it the exact tools it is starving for. The tightness in my chest has faded away. The heavy, sluggish feeling that used to shadow my afternoons is completely gone. I am sitting here today, feeling the cool breeze, taking deep breaths, and feeling the steady, unbothered rhythm of my heart. The heart pays attention to what we repeat every day. The engine is running clean, the lines are wide open, and I am putting in the daily work to keep this vehicle on the road for a very long time.